I didn't know a single, harmless moment could change the direction of my entire life. Until the day he looked at me in a way he shouldn't have. I thought it was nothing, just a strange accident. But now, when I look back, I realize that moment was the beginning of everything I could never control, never admit, and never forget. I used to believe it was just a small misunderstanding, something that would end right there and never return. But I was completely wrong. That moment became the start of something far more tangled, far more forbidden, and even now as I speak about it, I can feel a slight shake in my hands. This isn't only a confession, it is me facing my own mixed feelings, my shame, and the strange desire I didn't want to admit. Alfred, my mother's ex-boyfriend, was a mature, confident man who carried himself with a calm kind of strength. He was the type who never needed to raise his voice to draw attention. Most of the time he was quiet whenever he visited, yet his presence always seemed to fill the entire space. My mother Jennifer had dated him years ago, long before I was grown, and although they had ended things peacefully, he still appeared in her life from time to time. I had never been close to him. He was polite with me but distant, almost careful, until that day when something shifted so suddenly. My mom was out with her friends again, something she did often, and the house was left with just Alfred and me, since he had come by earlier to pick up something he had left in the garage. I thought the evening would be completely uneventful. I went to my room to change clothes. Standing in front of the mirror wearing only my underwear, I was about to put on a dress when I heard a low creak of my door moving. "Emily, your door's open," Alfred said quietly from the doorway. His voice was calm, but it hit me like a spark. I turned my head and saw his eyes fixed on me. Time seemed to freeze. I didn't cover myself, yet I also didn't know how to react. I simply stood there for a few seconds that felt strangely long. His hand stayed on the doorknob as if he wasn't sure whether to step back or say something more. His gaze stayed a little too long, enough for me to feel a rush of confusion and something else I couldn't name. My heart thudded so loudly it felt like the whole room could hear it. It was only a brief moment, not even a full breath, but something inside me changed. "I'm sorry," he said at last, his eyes sliding away from mine, but there was something in his voice that didn't sound fully apologetic. There was a hesitation in it, a softness that made me question what he was really thinking. He stepped back and closed the door, but even after he left, his presence hung in the air. "It's fine," I whispered under my breath, though everything inside me disagreed. That moment stuck to me like a shadow, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't push it away. I had thought it was a mistake, an uncomfortable accident, something anyone could brush off, but I was wrong again. A few days later, it happened once more, and this time the line between us blurred even further. Up until that point, everything could have been explained away as bad timing, a door left open at the wrong moment, a simple awkward accident. That was the excuse I held on to. But deep down I sensed that it wouldn't stop there. That moment had only been the start, and soon I would understand exactly how far things would go. The next morning we had a wedding to attend. One of my mother's old friends was getting married for the second time. Jennifer, always lively and eager for social events, was dressed up and glowing with excitement. She loved parties, laughter, companions, almost more than she loved the idea of any deep loyalty. I wasn't excited about going, but something about Alfred being there changed the way I felt. We arrived at the venue together, surrounded by a cheerful crowd, but my eyes kept drifting toward Alfred. I told myself I was imagining things. That stress or maybe confusion was pushing these thoughts in my head, but every time I looked at him under the warm wedding lights, he seemed more striking, more composed, more aware of everything around him. His suit fit him perfectly, and every small gesture he made felt deliberate. A dance song started playing. My mom and Alfred were dancing together, moving easily across the floor. At one point Jennifer turned to me with a playful grin. "Alfred, ask Emily to dance," she said. "I'm going to sit with my friends for a bit." The words hit me like a sudden jolt. Alfred paused for a moment, then turned toward me with a small, unbothered smile. He extended his hand. "Come on, Emily," he said lightly. "You'll have to teach me a few steps. Your mom already embarrassed me out there." His easy tone made it impossible to refuse. I placed my hand in his, trying to steady my voice. "Sure." We walked to the dance floor, and the second his hand rested on my waist, my breath caught. The warmth of his palm, his closeness, the soft scent of his cologne. It all felt like too much and not enough at the same time. While we moved to the rhythm, Alfred kept his eyes on mine. "I didn't know you could dance this well," he murmured with a warm smile. "This is surprisingly nice." I looked away quickly, trying to hide the way my chest tightened. "I'm just trying," I said, but the slight tremble in my voice betrayed me. He chuckled softly. "Don't put yourself down, Emily. This isn't just dancing, there's something here." His hand pressed just a bit more securely on my waist. "Can you feel it?" My heart raced so fast I felt dizzy. The crowd, the music, even my mother faded away until it felt like only he and I existed in that moment. As the music played on, Alfred leaned closer, his voice low. "I wanted to say sorry about the other day. I only wanted to warn you the door was open. But yes, it was wrong of me." His tone softened with sincerity. "I didn't want to disrespect your space." My cheeks grew warm. I didn't know if it was embarrassment or something else. "It's okay," I said quickly. "It wasn't a big deal. Really, things like that can happen." He watched me closely. "Still, if it made you uncomfortable, I regret it. Truly. I just reacted in the moment." "I wasn't uncomfortable," I whispered, though the strange flutter in my chest told me otherwise. "It's fine." The music slowed, and we stopped dancing. "Thank you," he said with a gentle smile. "You're a wonderful partner." I smiled back, unable to steady my breathing. Jennifer returned soon after, clapping excitedly. "You two looked great," she said. Her bright compliment made heat rise in my face. Later, when the wedding ended, Jennifer rushed off again with her friends for a girls-only gathering. "Alfred, take Emily home." "All right," she said, without waiting for a response. She was already leaving. Alfred and I walked to the car, the silence between us thick but not uncomfortable. Once inside, he started the engine and drove quietly for a moment before finally speaking. "Jennifer has her own priorities," he said calmly. "Sometimes I forget how easily she puts other things before the people closest to her." His tone wasn't bitter, only honest, and that honesty struck something in me. He seemed lonely in a way I hadn't seen before, and the thought made my chest tighten. "Yes," I said softly. "Sometimes a little consideration matters." Hugh nodded, eyes still fixed on the road. "You're right." When we reached home, I stepped out of the car, and Alfred paused before saying goodnight. He looked like he wanted to say more but held back. I walked inside, but as I neared my room, something stopped me and I turned around. "Alfred," I said quietly, "do you want to come in for a bit? Maybe we could talk." His eyes flickered with something I couldn't read, but after a moment he shook his head gently. "Maybe another time," he said. He seemed unsure, almost careful. I went to my room and sat on the edge of my bed replaying everything. His words, his loneliness, his eyes. I couldn't shake the memory of the day he accidentally walked in. I kept asking myself why I couldn't stop thinking about him. Hours passed. The house stayed quiet. My mom still wasn't home. I didn't know where Alfred had gone or what he was doing. But then suddenly my door opened. Alfred stood there, breathing a little unsteadily, as if he had been fighting with himself. I rose to my feet. "Alfred," I said, surprised. "What are you doing?" He closed the door slowly but remained near it, not walking further in. He began, his voice low and full of emotion. "You were right. Jennifer, she isn't fair sometimes. But tonight, none of that matters, not compared to what I need to say." He stepped closer, his eyes locked on mine. "For a while now, I've felt something toward you," he admitted. I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was nothing. But after that day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. My breath caught, the weight of his words hitting me all at once. "Maybe I shouldn't say this. Maybe it's a terrible idea," he continued. "But I can't hold it in anymore. I think about you more than I should." He waited for me to react, but I couldn't speak, I couldn't even move. He stepped closer, his voice softer. "You understand me, Emily. In a way Jennifer never did." My heart raced wildly. The emotions too strong and too confusing to handle. Silence wrapped around us until he finally dropped his gaze. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I shouldn't have said any of this. I should leave." He turned toward the door. "Have you ever wondered what makes a man feel deeply drawn to a woman? Almost like he can't walk away even if he tries. I don't mean a temporary rush, not a quick spark that disappears overnight. I'm talking about something that pulls him in, slowly, filling his mind, settling in his chest, and making him feel something he doesn't feel with anyone else. People like to say men are simple, but the truth is that men get attached in quiet, complicated ways. They fall not because of one big moment, but because of 1,000 small moments that stay with them long after they happen. And it doesn't start with beauty. Beauty may catch his attention, but it never keeps him. What keeps him is the way a woman makes him feel when she speaks to him, when she listens to him, when she looks at him like she sees more than the surface. A man becomes addicted to a woman when she touches a part of him he normally hides. When she reaches the places he never shows to anyone else. Men pretend they don't want emotional closeness, but most of them crave it more than they admit. This is what he remembers. The small things, the gentle tone, the way she says his name, the way she leans in a little when he talks, like she truly wants to hear his thoughts. For men, that is rare. They are not used to being understood. They are not used to being seen. When a woman gives him that feeling, it becomes something he returns to in his mind again and again. He may not know why he thinks about her, but he feels something calm and warm every time he does. The funny thing is that men don't fall for drama. They fall for comfort. Not the lazy kind of comfort, but that feeling that they can breathe near you. That feeling that they don't need to pretend. That feeling that their guard drops on its own. Men spend their whole lives trying to appear strong. When he meets a woman around whom he doesn't need to do that, he slowly becomes attached without even noticing. And this is where emotional tension grows. Not loud tension, quiet tension. The kind that builds inside him slowly. A look that stays too long. A smile that appears at the wrong time. A moment where his voice softens because of her presence. Those moments change how he sees her. When he walks away at the end of the day, he carries those moments with him. He thinks about her when something reminds him of her laugh. He remembers the way she talked to him when everyone else ignored him. He remembers the softness in her voice when she teased him. These memories replay themselves in his head until they no longer feel like memories. They feel like something he needs more of. But the real addiction starts when she becomes a part of his emotional routine. When his day feels strange without her. When he feels a little empty if she doesn't greet him, or speak to him, or look at him with that familiar warmth. He begins to notice the space she fills. And once a man notices that space, it becomes almost impossible for him to forget it. There is also something powerful about a woman who is gentle yet firm. A woman who doesn't chase him, but doesn't push him away either. That balance drives him crazy in a quiet way. It makes him step closer because he wants to earn her attention, not just receive it. Men don't stay for what is given easily. They stay for what feels meaningful. They stay for what feels honest. They stay for what feels rare. A man becomes addicted to a woman when she makes him feel respected in a way that doesn't feel forced. When she speaks kindly but isn't afraid to speak truth. When she supports him but also challenges him. When she listens, not because she must, but because she truly wants to understand him. Men rarely admit it, but that kind of emotional closeness feels almost intoxicating to them. This is also why a man might feel drawn to someone from his past. Someone who once played an important part in his life. Even if things changed later, people leave but emotional memories stay. And sometimes, when life becomes heavy, a man remembers the woman who once made him feel steady, calm, and understood. He remembers the way she looked at him. The way she spoke to him. The way she created that soft space in his heart without even trying. Some men never speak about these things, but they feel them. They carry them. They hold on to them quietly. The tension becomes a part of their daily life. He thinks of her when he drinks his morning tea, when he drives, when he notices something she used to like. He misses her without saying the words. Because for a man, missing someone is not about expression. It's about the pull he feels inside, the one he ignores during the day but surrenders to at night when everything is quiet. A man becomes attached when a woman becomes his safe place but also his spark. Someone who calms him but also awakens him. Someone who makes him feel like he is both strong and soft, both brave and vulnerable. Most men never get to feel that combination, so when they do, they hold on to it. It becomes the thing they return to again and again. Sometimes he tries to walk away. Sometimes he tries to forget. But every time he thinks he is done, something small pulls him back. Her voice, her eyes, a memory. A moment where they laughed too hard. A moment where she looked hurt and he wanted to fix it. A moment where they sat quietly and it still felt like connection. This is what truly makes a man feel addicted. Not obsession, not need, but connection. Deep, emotional connection that settles into his mind and refuses to leave. He finds himself wanting to be near her, wanting to hear her voice, wanting to understand her thoughts. Not because she forces him, but because something inside him quietly tells him, this is where you feel right. And a man never forgets the place where he feels right, even if life moved forward, even if circumstances changed, even if time passed. Some connections do not break. They simply wait. They stay under the surface like a warm current. And when two people meet again after a long time, that current rises. Not loudly, not dramatically, but strongly, deeply, naturally, as if no time passed at all. The truth is, emotional bonds do not disappear just because people walk away from each other. They fade a little, but they never vanish completely. And when two people have shared real connection, real comfort, real understanding, that feeling can return in a single moment, a single look, a single word, a single smile that feels familiar. This is what makes a man feel drawn back. This is what makes him remember everything he tried to put behind him. This is what makes him feel that quiet rush he cannot explain. Because deep down, men don't crave excitement. They crave meaning. They crave connection. They crave someone who understands them without needing long explanations. When he finds that, even once, he never forgets it. Never. He may hide it. He may ignore it. He may pretend it doesn't matter anymore. But deep inside, he carries it. Through good days, through bad days, through years. He carries the memory of the woman who made him feel something real, something rare. And when life brings her back into his path, everything he buried rises again first, then all at once. His voice changes, his eyes soften, his guard lowers, his heart remembers, his mind follows, his emotions wake up in ways he hasn't felt in a long time. That is the true meaning of emotional addiction. Not desperation, not obsession, but the natural pull to someone who once made him feel alive, safe, and understood. A man doesn't chase a woman for no reason. He chases her because there was a time when she touched something inside him that no one else ever reached. And once awakened, that feeling never fully goes away. And when a man begins to feel all of this again, he doesn't always understand what is happening inside him. He might try to reason with himself. He might try to tell himself that it's nothing, that it's just nostalgia, just memory, just the mind playing tricks. But deep inside, he knows it is more than that. Because nostalgia fades, memory fades, but real connection wakes up like it was never sleeping. He finds himself paying attention to small things. The way she moves her hands when she talks. The way her hair falls. The way her voice changes when she is excited or tired. He notices the soft lines in her expression he never saw before. He notices the way she smiles without meaning to. These small things become important to him in a way he cannot explain. He may pretend he doesn't care, but he does. And he feels it in the quiet moments the most. When he is alone. When the world is silent. When he sits with his thoughts and her face slips into his mind without warning. That is when he realizes something deeper. He never really let go. He just pushed the feelings into a quiet corner of his heart and convinced himself they no longer existed. But feelings don't disappear just because someone decides they should. They stay. They wait. They rest beneath the surface, soft but steady, like a tide that always returns. And when two people meet again, especially when the bond once held something warm and honest, that tide rises without permission. He starts wondering about her day. He starts thinking about her laugh at random moments. He starts wanting to hear her voice, not for any dramatic reason, but because it calms something in him. Men rarely talk about this, but sometimes they miss the peace a certain person brings into their life. A calm that feels like home, even if the relationship was never simple. That is the kind of emotional pull that becomes almost impossible for him to ignore. He may try to distract himself. He may bury himself in work or go out with friends or busy his mind with tasks. But emotional memory is stronger than distraction. It sits behind everything. Even when he laughs. Even when he acts like he is fine. And when he sees her again, even briefly, something inside him settles. It is not excitement. It is recognition. A soft feeling that whispers, "You know her. You know what she means to you. You always knew." But sometimes he becomes quiet around her, not because he is indifferent, but because he feels too much. He is afraid of revealing it. Afraid of saying something he cannot take back. Afraid of stepping over a line that once existed but feels blurry now. That silence is not emptiness. It is intensity. A pressure inside him that he can't express in words. There is also a kind of tension that forms between two people who once shared deep emotional closeness. Not aggressive, not loud, just a soft electricity that lives in every glance, every pause, every smile that lingers a little too long. It is the kind of tension that doesn't push them apart. It pulls them closer, even when they try to resist it. He might notice how different she is now. More mature, more calm, maybe stronger, maybe softer. But he also notices how some things about her never changed. The way she listens, the way she cares, the way she brings a feeling into a room that no one else ever could. Those familiar pieces become powerful reminders of what he once felt, and he starts imagining things again, harmless things, simple things. Talking with her on a long evening, laughing together in the kitchen, sitting quietly beside her without feeling the need to fill the silence. These small imaginations are not fantasies, they are the heart remembering what comfort felt like. Men do not talk about these things, but they feel them deeply. And when he feels that old warmth returning, he doesn't know whether to run from it or walk toward it. Part of him wants to stay grounded, logical, careful. But another part of him wants to trust the softness he feels, the way she makes the world feel lighter for a moment. He might worry whether she feels the same. He wonders if she thinks of him too. If she remembers the long conversations they once had. If she remembers the comfort they shared. If she ever looks at him with that same gentle curiosity she used to have. And even if she doesn't show it, he tries to read every small detail, every look, every smile, every shift in her voice. The truth is, men fall in love with the way a woman makes them feel like they are more than their mistakes, more than their responsibilities, more than their reputation. When she sees him as a human being, with flaws, dreams, fears, hopes, he feels safe with her in a way he feels with no one else. And that safety becomes addictive. It becomes the thing he returns to mentally when the world feels heavy. The thing that helps him breathe when everything seems too complicated. The thing that reminds him that he once mattered to someone in a deep, honest way. And eventually, he starts wondering what could happen if they shared space again. Not as the same people they used to be, but as the people they have grown into. He wonders whether the connection would be stronger now, more mature, more real. He wonders if she could still be the calm he searches for every time life becomes loud. A man becomes almost helpless in front of that kind of emotional memory. Not weak, just vulnerable in a way he rarely allows himself to be. And when she speaks to him softly, or looks at him with an expression that feels familiar, he is reminded of everything he tried to forget. Some people return to our lives not to repeat the past, but to awaken something inside us that never fully died. And when a man feels that awakening, he knows he cannot ignore it. He knows it means something. He knows it is not just old emotion but something living, something breathing, something present. He feels drawn. He feels attached. He feels alive. And that is the kind of pull a man never truly breaks. Because it is not built on desire. It is built on connection. It is built on truth. It is built on understanding. It is built on moments that shaped him, without him noticing at the time. What he feels next is something he cannot explain with logic. It's the quiet shift that happens inside him when he realizes he is paying attention to her without meaning to. He notices the way she enters a room. He notices the way her presence changes the air around him. He notices the way he straightens up a little when she speaks, as if every word she says deserves his full attention. He does not plan this. It just happens. And that natural reaction tells him more than any thought ever could. He becomes more aware of himself too. How he acts around her. How he speaks. How he listens. Not because he wants to impress her, but because she brings out a part of him he likes. A better version of himself. A calmer version. A more honest version. Men notice this difference even if they do not talk about it. There are people who make us feel tired, and there are people who make us feel peaceful. She is the second kind. She makes him feel grounded in a way he cannot explain. He doesn't need to put on a show or try to be more than he is. He feels enough when he is near her, And that feeling of being enough is something men rarely experience. When a woman gives him that feeling, even without trying, it becomes something he values deeply. He might try to hide how much he notices her. He might look away quickly when their eyes meet. He might act casual when his heart feels anything but casual. And that is how men protect themselves, by pretending they don't feel what they feel. But inside, he knows the truth. He feels the softness returning. He feels the attachment building again, piece by piece. Sometimes he catches himself smiling at something she said hours ago. Sometimes he remembers a moment from years back, a moment he had forgotten until seeing her again brought it back to life. These memories return with so much clarity that he wonders how they ever faded in the first place. Maybe they didn't fade. Maybe he just tucked them away because it hurt to hold them too close. Men do that. They bury emotions to survive, but the right person can bring those emotions back to the surface with a single word. A single look. A single gentle tone. He starts to see her not as she used to be, but as she is now. Stronger, wiser, more thoughtful. And he finds himself drawn not only to who she was, but to who she has become. That combination of old familiarity and new depth affects him more than she will ever know. There is a moment. Quiet, small, when he realizes she still affects him. Maybe she asks him something softly. Maybe she laughs at something he barely meant to be funny. Maybe she looks at him with a kind of warmth he hasn't felt in years. And that moment stays with him, echoing inside his chest long after he walks away. He thinks about whether he should say something. Whether he should let her know what he feels. Whether he should open a door that has been closed for so long. But men think differently about emotional risks. They hesitate not because they don't care, but because they care too much. They fear losing the small connection they already have. So he stays quiet, even though everything inside him wants to speak. He starts imagining little things again. Not grand gestures, not impossible plans. Just real things. Sharing morning coffee. Talking late at night. Walking together. Sitting near each other on a calm evening. These are the moments he sees in his mind. Not because he is dreaming too big, but because his heart remembers how natural it felt with her. He might wonder if she feels something too. If she notices the shift. If she senses the way he looks at her sometimes. If she feels the quiet pull when their hands accidentally brush. If she remembers the comfort they once shared. But instead of asking, he keeps those questions inside, letting them grow like soft vines around his thoughts. The more time passes, the more he realizes this pull is not going away. It is becoming stronger, quieter, deeper. It does not shout. It simply stays. Like a gentle weight on his chest. Like a memory that refuses to fade. Like a truth he has avoided for too long. He starts noticing how different he feels when she is present. His voice becomes softer without him trying. His attention sharpens. His guard lowers. He becomes more patient, more careful, more open. It is as if something inside him wakes up, something that was sleeping for years. And that awakening scares him and comforts him at the same time. Because he knows what it means. He knows that he is not simply remembering the past. He is feeling something now, something real, something alive. Something that does not belong to memory alone. He is drawn to her again, not because of who she was,